Hey guys, welcome to XCOM 2 LWOTC Mod Jam, episode 10. It's gonna be a long ride, boys. Just give me a second packing the bowl.
We're looking live at New York State Supreme Court in Lower Manhattan, where the prosecution is making its case.
All right, let's load it up.
Fox News is named Floyd. He joins us now from outside the courthouse with the very latest names.
Hey, Charles. So right now the prosecution is arguing that because Trump is a savvy businessman and generally knows the details of his affairs, and that Michael Cohen didn't have the authority to spend money, they argue that Trump must have been behind Daniels deal. Trump's lawyers maintain that Cohen did that by himself in order to gain Trump's favor and possibly secure a position in Trump's White House. Some witnesses have testified that Cohen appeared very depressed. One witness even described him as suicidal after he didn't receive a position in Trump's White House. Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass, as you were mentioning before, also just discussed the Access Hollywood tape, describing it as catastrophic for the Trump campaign and providing more motivation to suppress the Stormy Daniels story. Steinglass argues that Trump engaged in a conspiracy with Cohen and David Pecker to suppress negative stories about him and unlawfully influence the 2016 election. But the only person directly connecting Trump to the Stormy Daniels deal is Cohen himself. And Cohen, of course, has admitted to lying under oath several times. Trump attorney Todd Blanche called Cohen the greatest liar of all time today. He accused Cohen of lying several times on the stand in his trial as well, including in the phone call through Trump's bodyguard, Keith Schiller, where he says he alerted Trump of the Daniels deal, despite text messages showing that he actually wanted to talk to Schiller about harassing phone calls that he was receiving. And also that he did work for Trump in 2017, but didn't expect to be paid for that work. Instead, Cohen maintaining that all payments were reimbursements for the Stormy Daniels deal. So a bit earlier, prosecutors said they were 1/3 of the way through their prosecution. We are inching forward, but the trial is expected to go beyond its typical 4:30 end date today. We have been told that Trump will speak when court ends. It just remains to be seen exactly when that will be.
Charles, before I let you go, a lot of speculation over the judge's instructions. Even more so today with the defense objections being shot down. There's some speculation as to whether or not they should continue to object or should they stop because maybe they'll look desperate.
Yeah, I would assume that they'll continue to object when they feel that it's warranted, Charles. But you mentioned this. This is a key point because Steinglass, the prosecutor here, continues bringing up Cohen's 2018 guilty plea as well as the non-prosecution agreement that David Pecker, the entered, and
that was a bad move.
Discussions, a big point was whether or not those two things could imply Trump's guilt, and it was decided that they couldn't imply Trump's guilt based off the actions of other men. However, the jury has now heard a lot about those two things, and it will be up to the judge. We'll see if he actually says something to the jury, possibly tomorrow or whenever the jury instructions are given, reminding them that those two men and their actions, proven actions, don't imply Trump's guilt in this case. We'll send it back to you.
Well, thank you, Greg. In the meantime, folks, the judge in Trump's
fucking up my angles.
documents case rejecting prosecutors' request for a gag order on former President Trump. Fox News' David Spondis at the Department of Justice with the very latest there. David.
Yeah, hey, Charles, this is the case in Florida, the documents, those classified documents taken to Mar-a-Lago. Another case plaguing the former president, although this is right now just on hold for several months. But the judge in the case said that Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, can continue making statements even against the wishes of special counsel Jack Smith, who says that his statements recently over the past few days about the FBI are not only false and inflammatory, they're also
Two son of a bitch.
law enforcement. The special counsel wanted a gag order put in place last Friday. He wrote the court in an official motion insisting that the president continues to play into a narrative that the FBI planned to kill him during the raid of Mar-a-Lago in August of 2022. Not only was the former president not there, but he took the standard practice of FBI agents being armed during any raid and made it appear as if he were under attack by the FBI. He said on social media, quote, "The FBI was locked and loaded, ready to take me out," end quote. The FBI responded with a statement explaining that agents always carry their guns, no exceptions, and they were following a long-standing policy surrounding the use of force. The special counsel wrote, "These deceptive, inflammatory claims expose the law enforcement professionals who were involved in this case to unjustified and unacceptable risk. They invite these sort of threats and harassment that have occurred when other participants in legal proceedings against Trump have been targeted by his invective." Now, the FBI said the standard deadly force policy statement included in the operations order for the search of the former president's residence was also included in the operations order for the search of the sitting president, meaning President Biden's home in Delaware, as is standard practice for all FBI operations orders. Ultimately, Charles, the Trump-appointed judge Eileen Cannon in Florida, denied this attempt. She has since pushed the trial back from May 20th to possibly later this summer, but at least 18 months out with no firm date. Donald Trump's attorneys fought back. They said this is way overblown. Donald Trump should have the freedom of speech, should not be bound by any sort of gag order. I reached out to the special counsel's office. No comment. Charles.
David, thank you very much. And we are waiting on possible remarks from Donald Trump when he leaves the courthouse after the hearing on these closing arguments.
Diabetes can serve up a lot of questions, like what is your glucose and can you have more carbs? Before you decide, with the Freestyle Libre 3 system, know your glucose and where it's heading. No finger sticks needed. Now the world's smallest and sends your glucose levels directly to your body. Manage your diabetes with more confidence and lower your A1C, the #1 CGM prescribed in the US. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
Introducing Club Advantage. It's everything you need for weight loss and wellness all in one place. Try today and get a 38-day trial at 50 days. It's 231, 231. Get unlimited access to high-protein meals, a dedicated support team, and personalized meal plans that work with any weight loss approach. No minimum purchase and no cancellation fees. Plus, get your meal delivered on your doorstep for free. Try today and get a 38-day free trial at 50 days. To 231, 231.
Ooh, carne asada.
It's carne asada. What is that? Carne asada. Carne. Carne. But with more flavor. Carne. Carne. Try saying it like this. Juicy carne asada. Carne asada. Carne. I did. And you swole.
With Schwab investing fees, it's easy to invest in ideas you believe in. Spot a trend in electric vehicles? Have a passion for online gaming? Or want to explore the space economy? Choose from over 40 themes, each with up to 25 stocks identified by our unique algorithm. Buy it as is or customized to align with your goals. All at your fingertips. Schwab investing themes, 40 customizable themes, up to 25 stocks in just a few clicks.
Who's your favorite judge? Big B. Simon. What?
Simon, I'll be your veteran pro.
Check your local listings.
This is the all-new Tempur-Pedic Adapt mattress. We designed it to help make aches and pains a thing of the past, because our most advanced, infinitely adaptable Tempur material eases your pressure points, inch by inch, and molecule by molecule, way that no other mattress can, all night, every night. During the Tempur-Pedic Memorial Day sale, save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets. Experience deep, undisturbed rest. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Imagine a future where plastic is not wasted, but instead remade over and over into the things that keep our food fresher, our families safer, and our planet cleaner. To help us get there, America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars to create innovative products and new recycling technologies for sustainable change. Because when you push for smarter solutions, new things can happen.
Our biggest challenge? Uncertainty. If these surcharges, knows what to expect. Cut shipping. Deal advantage.
Keep it simple and clear upfront pricing.
With USPS Ground Advantage. This year, make Father's Day special with the Fox News Shop's New Proud American Dad Collection. From polos and hats to golf balls, a decanter set, and more. Show Dad the love with gifts you can't get anywhere else. Order now at foxnews.shop for holiday delivery.
Back to the Trump trial here in New York, where the prosecution is still making its final case to jurors. Fox Business' Lydia Key is outside the courthouse with the latest. Lydia.
Yeah, hey there, Charles. The prosecution is now entering what seems like is approaching hour 3 of their closing arguments. They started around 2 o'clock today. One issue that one has to wonder is the length of these closing arguments and whether the jurors are going to take that to mean, wow, prosecutors have a lot to say, this must be very important. Or are they going to draw a negative inference from that, wondering why is this going on for so long? Can they quickly get to the point and wrap this up so we can move on? You know, in the defense closing arguments that happened earlier this morning, the defense landed some major blows on the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, pointing out that he is a known liar, a perjurer, someone who admitted to lying to Congress, lying to his family, lying to his wife, stealing from the Trump organization, surreptitiously recording his own client, Donald Trump. All of this with, of course, the argument being, how can one now convict the former president based off of the word of Michael Cohen? So, what I have been looking for during the prosecution's closing arguments are signs that they are able to rehabilitate Michael Cohen's image. What other types of corroborating evidence are they able to point to that fortify his testimony that he told Donald Trump about the Stormy Daniels payment at the time they were happening? So far, we're not hearing a lot of that, and maybe that's because the evidence was weak on that point. Maybe they're still building to it. Right now, it seems like we're hearing a lot of dancing around, a lot of the ancillary issues, whether there was election interference, why the payment to Stormy Daniels was made, whether the Access Hollywood tape issue was an indication that this is all in an effort to influence the election. But this is still very much going on and carrying into the hours, Charles.
Very much. And as you were speaking, we saw former President Trump. They are taking another break. Apparently, it's going to be from 5 to 5:30. I want to bring in now former Deputy Independent Counsel, also Fox News contributor Saul Weisenberg, and just to get your thoughts on the prosecution. How's it going for them so far, Saul?
Oh, it's very, very hard to say if you're not in the courtroom and you're not getting actual transcripts. I will tell you that the judge has certainly made it very much easier for them with his rulings. Somebody had mentioned earlier, why doesn't the defense object more? And you can always solve that by saying, Your Honor, I'd like to have a running objection to this line of argument or testimony. I'm not sure if that's been done or not. But, the real test will come when we find out for sure tomorrow the final decision by the judge on the jury instructions. What we've been able to glean so far from the transcripts we've seen is that he's going for the most part with the prosecution's theory. But keep this in mind, Charles, they still have to prove, the government has to prove that Donald Trump, forget about everything else, intent to defraud, everything else, they've got to prove that he intended to violate a federal election law, whether it be civil or criminal. And I don't think anybody, I've seen no evidence, even if they didn't impeach Cohen at all, which we know they did, I haven't seen any evidence of any, even from Cohen, that they discussed
Excellent.
The federal election code. So it ain't over yet.
Real quick, we only have a minute to go. When the prosecution began its closing arguments, they said, A, that there were false business records, B, false records were intended to cover up a conspiracy, and C, Trump was involved. And they keep alluding to the fact that Cohen is a liar and he did a lot of things wrong, but the inference is that Trump knew, but is there any proof anywhere that Trump actually knew other than inference that Cohen worked for him? But where's the smoking gun?
Well, again, if you focus on the fact that he's got to be, Trump has to be, they have to find beyond reasonable doubt that Trump was intending to violate a separate law and cover up a separate thing.
What the fuck are you boys?
It's not the federal election code or the state election code. What would it be? And there's no indication that Trump knew anything about that. I see that. Look, there are a million problems with this case and how it was tried, but I see that as the key problem for the prosecution.
Well, thank you very much. And folks at home, thank you for watching. Make sure you catch me tomorrow, every day, in fact, 2 p.m. Eastern on our Fox Business Network. Making money. Neil's back tomorrow. But right now, here's the 5.
Kayak Drake Bethel, along with Judge Jimmy Pirro, Richard Fowler, Jesse Waters, and Bill Hemmer carries her to work in a fanny pack. Nina Brio, the car.
Make no mistake about it. I'm here because of Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroying our country. This country is being destroyed rapidly, slowly, rapidly. On the borders, on energy, on inflation, on everything you can name. Afghanistan, everything about what he's done. He's destroying our country. And he's also destroying it with weaponization. And this is purely his weaponization.
That was Trump earlier today. The court is taking a 20-minute break, and we'll see if he steps up to the mic again. The prosecution's still making closing arguments as the hush money trial gets ready for its climax. Despite 6 weeks, 22 witnesses, and tawdry testimony about spankings, America is still no closer to knowing what Donald Trump did wrong, except pay a scummy lawyer who stole 60 grand from him. The ex-president's lawyer, Todd Blanche, arguing there was no intent to defraud and no conspiracy to influence the 2016 election. And as for Bragg's star witness, Blanche saying, quote, Michael Cohen is the GOAT. He is the greatest liar of all time. You cannot send someone to prison based upon the words of Michael Cohen. The judge not happy about that last line, telling jurors there was a suggestion that the former president could be sent to prison if convicted. The prosecution was busy trying to clean up Cohen's theft and serial lying by saying, quote, we didn't pick Michael Cohen, Trump did. But this CNN lawyer thinks they fell way short.
They fell way short. There is reasonable doubt all over this case. Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this, where he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. It doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries, for legal fees, Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family? It's everywhere. Everywhere.
So, Judge, what do you make of the judge flipping out on Trump's lawyer about don't send Trump to jail? Is it on the spectrum of all the stuff that's been said? That is worthy of the outrage.
First of all, we already know that Judge Rashan is thin-skinned. Okay, he can't take much. All you do is you say to your lawyer, counselor, you know the sentencing is for the courts. You argue the facts, I'll tell them the law, and I'll decide if there needs to be what the sentencing should be. But, you know, that's not the least of it. Today,
there it is.
I was there today, and the amazing part of this is I thought the defense gave an excellent summation. Was it a summation that I would have given? No, I'm more, you know, kind of fire and brimstone. But so it's usually homicide, so it could be fire and brimstone. But he was very methodical. He went point by point. And everything that every juror on that jury would question, he went over. He first started with the fact that the DA hasn't met the burden of proof. They have to convince you beyond a reasonable doubt, all of you, before you can convict. And what they did was they did 3 columns: an invoice, a voucher, and a check. The invoices were sent by Cohen to accounting. The vouchers were prepared by a staffer in there, consistent with the invoice sent from Cohen, and the checks are then generated based on the invoices, and then Trump signed them, as we already know from Madeline Westerhouse in the White House. He'd be talking to people, he'd be on the phone, he wouldn't even look at it, he'd even skip a few. So then you had that. It was very simple. Trump's hands, no testimony, nothing from his voice to his hands had anything to do with the checks. Now, if Trump were engaging in anything fraudulent, would he send a 1099 to Michael Cohen? Would he keep all of those records? Would he allow himself to be, sabotaged by a guy that, and I'm telling you right now, Trump knew Cohen was a dirtbag. That's why he didn't take him to the White House. Trump knew what he was. He used him for certain things. Now, an NDA is not illegal. Catch and kill is not illegal. Google didn't want to catch and kill. She wanted her pretty face on the cover of the magazine. The doorman, Pecker said, I'm going to write a story where, if it's true that there's a baby out there, and of course it's not. And there's no catch and kill with Stormy Daniels because the story was out in 2011. And here's something that no one's talked about. Stormy Daniels did not testify in the grand jury. Why? Why did the prosecutor not put Stormy in the grand jury? Is he aware that he might be sworning perjury? Was there something in there? Was he worried about exculpatory evidence coming out? That's a very key issue. I don't know the answer to it. And finally, he came out and he issued 10 reasons, 1 through 10. Every juror had to relate to this. There was no intent to unlawfully influence the election. Trump's wife, and he established that everything that Cohen said was true, that the prosecution is now saying is corroborated, which is nonsense, is contradicted by the facts or contradicted by no one who is called. The prosecutor had the right to call Keith Schiller, who he should have called about the October 24, 2016 14-year-old. The prosecution had the right to call Weissel
pain in the ass when the fucking halfway across the town is the fucking attraction.
Information that Michael Cohen is the greatest liar of all time. He is the embodiment of reasonable doubt. Now, I'm not going to take up all the time, but I can tell you this. One more thing. This guy is the linchpin of the case, and they destroyed Michael Cohen.
So, Dana, it seems like to me that the prosecution wasn't trying to prove a crime. So that leaves me with two theories. One, that they knew that this was a time waster to handicap Trump's campaign, or they know the guilty verdict is in the bag with the judge and the jury.
I think those are two good things. I mean, it is just baffling that we have really great legal analysts on this channel and other places saying, wait, what is the crime? And you have to imagine that the jury is thinking that too. I think that the best line of the day is the gloat. It sticks with you. The greatest liar of all time. You're not going to forget that. It's like it's like funny, and it's clever and it's smart. I do believe that the long summation by the prosecutor is probably driving the jury crazy. Like, dude, shut up. We already heard all of this. Let's get going. So I don't think long and tedious is the right way to go with a jury that's already ready to get back to work or end their lives.
You hear that, Jesse?
Two kind of political points. One is about the fairness for President Trump as the, let's say, former president, yes, candidate, and has a gag order. And how is it fair then that, and we'll talk about this in the next block, I know, but all of a sudden today, the Biden campaign decides to come up and demand a conviction outside of the courthouse? What are they thinking? And then we'll get to Robert De Niro later. The last thing I would mention is a lot of polls have asked, and the Democrats have hung their hats on this, if Trump is convicted, then we'll not vote for him, right? And they're not getting the answer that they want. There's not been a lot of polling with this question, which is, if he's acquitted, will that change your mind? And we don't know that answer yet, but I have a feeling that you probably have more than not say, yeah, that was wrong.
What say you, Jesse? Well, I'm with Dana. It's not just they're back, the jury, after a Memorial Day weekend. They haven't been doing anything for 6 days. They are zonked.
It should be everybody.
So they get up this morning and they're pretty zoned in to Todd Blanche. They're ready. And then if he goes 2.5 hours, this guy's going to go 4.5, 5 hours in closing argument.
Thank God they just showed up.
Dying, feeling almost as bad as I am right now. I picked up Jesse Jr. from school today, Greg, and he's sitting in the back seat.
Close, so fucking close.
In Latin America had been losing in the polls to a populist and had then tried to put this guy in jail and trumped up charges. Anthony Blinken would have rushed to the microphones at the State Department and demanded election monitors and threatened to cut off evidence. like very astute observation, Justice Junior. What are you getting at? He said, well, I don't know. It just seems like such a grave injustice what's going on down there in Lower Manhattan. I'm awaiting the UN General Assembly vote to condemn what's happening here in the United States. I said, wow. And then all of a sudden he just spits out all this Pepperidge Farm fish. Couldn't believe it. Wow. But if this kid who's story can understand the concept of fairness, the whole country can. In the case, the Democrat Party is trying to charge the Republican nominee in a Democrat stronghold in an election in which they're losing on a crime that no one can name, that no one's ever charged because it isn't a crime, and they're using a porn star and a smart lawyer to do it. And then the judge is presiding all over it. He donated to the Biden campaign, and the Biden campaign paid his family. And he sustains every single objection from the prosecution and overrules every single objection from the defense. This case is garbage. I'm just as sick of it as this jury, and I am praying, and I go like this when I pray, that this case is adjudicated honorably.
Well played there. And you know Jesse's the smarter one of the family. So Richard, I get the sense from all this that the prosecution is saying it doesn't really matter if Trump is guilty because he's such a bad guy. Just go on the bad guy argument and we're good. Let's say
listen, I don't know about that. Listen, I said last week and I'll say it again here. I think that this jury is likely going to acquit the president because to Dana's point, I think there's a struggle around what the actual crime is. I think we do understand the storyline. I think
we combat medic.
People even lost that in this process. This case started out because there's an alleged affair between Donald Trump and a former porn star. He gets his lawyer, Michael Cohen, who does his dirty work to pay off his porn star so the story doesn't go public. And that is the basis of the storyline. I think even
Field medic
has been lost in the melee of the past 6 weeks. But ultimately, and I'll continue to say this, and I'll say it until I'll not be a broken record on this particular point. There are no cameras in this court. This is unlike one of the rare trial in America for the media. You don't get to watch it and analyze body language, and analyze pregnant pauses, and analyze the fire and brimstone of a closing that Judge and give she the city they're given. But this is all based on legal analysis and the sort of sidebar thing that people are seeing on their screen. And we really don't know what the jury's picking up on and what they're not picking up on. So we have to depend on these 12 individuals.
I only have one combat medic, so I'm going to make another one.
The state of New York.
Field medic.
Its determination, and I agree with the judge. I think jury's trying to get it right. I think they're trying to get it right here.
especially when they've been hanging out for 5 days with their relatives.
Can I say one thing, real fast? The judge said we can go to 4:30 today, or we can go through. The jury said we want to continue to hear the summations. That tells me they're ready to roll. They've had enough of this nonsense, and they've been free since last Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. All right, ahead, America's raging windbag crashes the profile. Biden campaign drops out Robert De Niro to spew garbage.
This Memorial Day, Bed Bath & Beyond is making it easy to save big on everything you need to seize the summer. Shop our biggest sale of the season with up to 70% off thousands of items and huge savings on decor, furniture, bedding, and more. Plus, create the ultimate outdoor retreat with huge savings on patio furniture and decor. Make this summer one to remember with a little help and a lot of savings from Bed Bath & Beyond. In the fast-paced rhythm of life, where demands can be relentless and time is precious, prioritizing your well-being can be hard. Not to worry. Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements are convenient and easy to add to any schedule. Paired with eating more fresh produce, regular exercise, and a positive mindset, Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements can help you keep your rhythm. Whether it be excelling in your day-to-day or just living in the moment, start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Make a splash in the summer with Balance of Nature. Get 35% off plus a free fiber and spice supplement with your first order as a preferred customer. Don't wait. This offer is only available while supplies last with free shipping and a money-back guarantee. go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Fox News.
Hi, I'm William Devane. Did you know there's only been 2 times in American history, 2, when the national debt was larger than gross domestic product? World War II and right now. That's a deep hole, and I don't know how we'll climb out of it. That's why I buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Roslyn Capital is a trusted leader in helping people acquire.
We're definitely saving this. Looks like an easy mission, but I smell something funny. Could be new enemy. We just found the Pathfinders, so they're cool. They were added in, along with the research and everything, hopefully. Corpses and everything else.
During a recent scouting operation, our friends in the Resistance picked up readings from a massive psionic transmitter Advent just deployed in this area. As we understand it, destroying that transmitter while it's still connected to their network would cause catastrophic outages across the region. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Advent has constructed a psionic transmitter in this area, tied directly into their primary network. Our intel suggests destroying it while it's still connected will severely damage their linked systems. Plant the explosives before they have a chance to pull the plug.
Other kids who were going through the same process, so I was able to relate and find Macy's part of United Way. I'm able to achieve my dreams.
Are you insane, Gizmo? Let's save this. And we'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Stay tuned, it's gonna be a long one.
Team Joe holding a news conference outside the courthouse with the actor getting shouted down as he loses his mind at the former president. I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city,